Hi everyone, and welcome to Module 3. That's amazing. We are more than halfway through the class, so pat yourself on the back. Congratulations. We're only another short module away from being finished. This one, however, is called Special Events, and man, I've done a lot of these, and just from my experience, you have to do special events. They're good for public relations. They're good for making friends, but again, in my experience, unless you have a corporation or a donor that underwrites all of the expenses for an event, they typically are not huge money makers. I mean, you can make some money off of special events, but when you incorporate staff time and volunteer time and everything else, you're lucky to break even or make a little bit of money. Again, in my experience. But you can make some really good long-term friends with special events, and that's why you really have to do it. You really have to put them on. So I think that it's good to bring in new people with special events that you can move up your kind of ladder of fundraising effectiveness, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But yes, special events are great to do. I want to touch a little bit on the different styles of writing. Uh, we've just finished some emails to our board members. We also did some pitches that we for writing. We did an introduction of ourselves as a VISTA. The goal with any kind of writing, professional writing, is to not be boring, and to grab the potential donor's heart. With a few exceptions, that's really our goal. We don't want to use a lot of flowery, salesy language. We just want to be short and concise and very clear with what we're trying to say. It's different with a press release, okay? And I'm going to be very specific about that here in a second, but these are all different styles of writing that we have to know about. A press release is very, very different from what we've already done. And in going further, even a grant or a letter of inquiry for a grant is an entirely different monster than what we've done already. So there are differences, and one of the greatest benefits, I think, of this class is to know those differences, to recognize those, because a lot of people in nonprofits don't. And if you do know the difference, then you are already 10 steps ahead of those folks in terms of being competitive for donor dollars. Okay? Your job and with this module is to write to your board again about your idea for a special event. Okay, and again, you want to be very respectful, and you want to be as detailed as you can without writing a novel. You know, if you're going to do a gala, for instance, give me some details about that. Don't just tell me you're going to do a gala. That's not going to work. But again, you're writing to your board, and you want to be professional and respectful to the board, and that's why I mentioned these different styles of writing. I also want to talk, as I mentioned, about this fundraising pyramid or ladder of effectiveness. With every nonprofit, and you know, you're going to hear about all kinds of different ways in your career to raise money or the ways that people give, and it always comes back to the basics. I mean, I've heard it all, and I've heard different takes on all of these different things, but here's the fact. You bring people into your organization typically with a mail piece or an email piece. Other donors and your board will give you names of people that they think might be of interest or have an interest in your mission. But typically, they're going to give a first gift online or as a result of an annual appeal that you've sent out or as a result of an email appeal. Nobody just shows up at your door and gives you $100,000, okay? Yeah, that's happened, but it's really rare. But people generally come in at the bottom of this pyramid where you have the least amount of contact with them, but it's the most people. And what you typically want to do then is use those names that you have to invite them to a special event. And that would be kind of the next rung on this ladder or the next narrower piece of the pyramid. You're going to want to bring these people in because they've expressed an interest in your organization, and now maybe they want to show up at an event. And that is your great opportunity to shake their hand and say, hey, thanks for giving to us, and thanks for being at this special event. We appreciate your support. What typically happens then is that they show up again for other events, or They continue to give online or through your annual appeals. I apologize for the airplane. But you keep them engaged somehow. And then at the tip of your pyramid, other than grants are also in this pyramid and probably the next step up, but they're more of a business relationship. At the tip of your pyramid are two things: major gifts and planned gifts. And a major gift is typically a sit-down, face-to-face meeting, or more likely several meetings, with one of these individuals that has come up your pyramid or come up your ladder of effectiveness, and now you want to ask them perhaps for that $100,000 gift. The other side of that is our planned gifts, which are, again, a lot of face-to-face conversations where you're asking that person to maybe leave your organization in their will, or asking them to maybe sell you some of their stock in a company, or there's all kinds of different ways to arrange a planned gift. But basically, I wanted to talk about the donor pyramid or the ladder of effectiveness, however you want to describe it, and for you to know that a donor usually comes in at the bottom, works themselves up to a special event, and then over time maybe a major gift, and then over time maybe a planned gift. That's how it works. So that's one of the reasons why we have special events in our planning here. All right, so the message that I'd like to leave you with, though, is that the most effective fundraising vehicle, by far, and I mean by tons more than any other, is a face-to-face sit-down meeting with a donor. And that really comes at any level. Whenever you can do that with anybody, that's what you should do. And that's why these pitches are so important. And that's why it's important to tell stories that grab hearts. If you're sitting across from someone and you tell them, and especially like, let's use Community Kitchen as an example. If you tell them about some kid who's so overweight that he can't even get up the stairs in his school, and the bullying that he takes because of that, and why that's happened to him, because his parents work all the time, or he's only got junk food to eat, all these different reasons why there's a community kitchen, that's really going to strike a chord with me, much more so than you sitting down and telling me that 80% of the kids in your school have free or reduced lunches. That means nothing to me. That's a statistic, and that doesn't rip my heart out and leave it on the floor. But when, I can picture some kid, some really overweight kid that can't get up the stairs, and other kids knocking his books out and making fun of him and calling him names, I'm going to get mad about that. And that's what you're trying to do, is strike some sort of emotional chord in me so that I have a reaction, whether it's sad or angry or whatever. But then I'm going for my wallet and I'm going to give you money so that we can stop this nonsense. I hope that's clear, and I hope that you understand that example. Don't be boring. Tell me stories. Tell me good stuff. Rip my heart out. Make me cry. That's what fundraising's all about. Okay, next week we're going to do, or I'm sorry, this week we're going to do event development. You're going to give me detail about an event that you want to do, and me being your board, you're going to email your board and tell them what you want to do. You're going to do some sponsorship levels. Be very creative with these levels. Come up with some cool names. Be very balanced with them as well. For instance, if you have $1,000 level, don't give me a $5,000 car for being in that level. I mean, just use your head. Be very balanced and creative, and make sure your incentives are good and that they're not taking all of your sponsorship dollars. That really defeats the purpose. So also, there's when you tell me about your different sponsorship levels, there is two parts to that assignment, and the first part is to write a descriptive paragraph about your event. I guarantee you that 33% of this class will not do that. I don't know why they don't. I have no idea, but I've done my own research. 33% of every class does the sponsorship level, which is part B of that assignment, and they don't do part A, which is to give me a descriptive narrative of your event. So I have to take about half off of that assignment when that's missing. Don't do that. Let's see if we can get one class where I get 100% that don't do that. Okay, and then the second week of this module, we're doing a press release. So here's what I want to tell you about a press release, and please listen very carefully because you can lose a lot of points here. A press release should be written to the media. You're not selling the media. This is not a piece to a donor. The reason for a press release is to write the media and say, hey, we're doing an event. if you're interested, here's the facts. We'd love it if you could cover this event or put something in print or on the radio or whatever it is, but here are the facts of the event. Okay, you're not selling the media. There is very rarely will you get any kind of media sponsorship for anything, because if they do it for you, they got to do it for everybody. So the very first paragraph of a press release are the reporter's facts: who, what, where, when, how. And that's all it should be. Don't start off with, we're going to give you a once-in-a-lifetime chance to come to the greatest event ever known to man. Who are you selling? You're not selling the media. You're never going to see that in print. So don't write it. Just give me the facts. You are a fact robot. Anything that comes out of your mouth or on your pen is a fact. No adjectives about anything. It's not a great this or a wonderful that or a delicious this. None of that. Facts. Just facts. Okay. Then you want to back up your facts with, some more statistics, who you are, why you're doing this. Again, it's just facts. And then at the end of the press release, you stick in a little paragraph, 3 to 4 sentences about the community kitchen, because you can't assume that the media knows who you are. So you tell them a little bit about who you are. But in the middle of all this is a quote. Now, here's where you can get away with being wild and crazy with what you want to say. If you want to tell me about the delicious meals you're going to have, or the great kids that are going to be there, or the once-in-a-lifetime experience that I'm going to have, then have somebody quote that. So you can say anything you want in quotations. Judy Reimer, the executive director of Community Kitchens, said, hey, the meals we cook are going to knock your socks off. They're going to be so great. You're going to want to come back for more because this is a once-in-a-lifetime deal, and I'm getting wild and crazy because I'm the executive director. Unquote, says Judy Reimer, or whatever. And then you go right back into fact robot status, okay? But do not say that kind of stuff as you being the writer. That's not what a press release is. A press release is facts to the media. You're not selling the media. You're just telling them about what's going on. But you have this great little outlet in a press release for somebody that you quote, Billy Bob the mayor or this expert in kid nutrition or whoever it is. They can say whatever they want, and they can be crazy if they want. That's in a quote, okay? So I hope that's clear. Anyway, again, this is Module 3, and if you have any questions about anything, you know how to get me by now. If you're having any technological issues, please let me know. After this module is Module 4, and that's grants, and then we're going to learn about an entirely different way to write. So there's all these different styles that we need to be familiar with, because as I said, if you are, then you'll be way ahead of everybody else in this field who represents your competition. Okay, thanks everybody. Have a great 2 weeks. I'll see you for Module 4. Take care.